You know, any parent who's ever learned that their child has a terminal illness I just can't even imagine. The news is shocking, but experts are quick to point out that with all the advancements in medicine, there's always hope, even if it's hundreds of miles away. CBS News correspondent Bianca Solorzano met 9-year-old Marcella Sears, known as Selly, whose family refused to give up.
Marcellus has come from death to life. I see his eyes, I see the light and the sparkle.
Mom, you see that?
He's a little boy again.
There was a time when Selly couldn't play with Bubbles or ride a bike. Afflicted with a rare lung disease, he needed an oxygen tank just to breathe.
There was some bleeding in his lungs at the time, which gave us this horrible diagnosis called idiopathic pulmonary hemosiderosis.
The doctors informed Selly's mother, Lisa Ortega Sears, that the disease was terminal.
I remember just praying and saying, Lord, just let me see his eyes one more time. That was so important to me, to be able to look at him and just tell him that I loved him one more time. And God answered my prayer.
A family friend discovered the lung transplant program at Children's Hospital of Philadelphia, nearly 700 miles from their Michigan home. The facility is state-of-the-art.
This is one of the ORs. This is where they can do the lung transplants or heart transplants.
At the hospital, Selly was given the possibility of a lung transplant.
He said he wanted to try for new lungs. And I said, baby, if you want to try for new lungs, we're going to try and get them for you.
After 8 months in the hospital, the news finally came. A set of lungs had arrived for Selly, and the hospital prepared him for surgery.
For me, it was happy, scared at the same time, but happy and stuff.
The day of the surgery, Sears met Selly's surgeon, Dr. Thomas Spray, a pioneer in pediatric lung transplantation.
Lung transplantation is a very complex operation with high risk.
Sears had to be prepared for an operation that could last up to 8 hours, but Dr. Spray finished in just less than 4.
These lungs have been a blessing. Marcellus has healed miraculously.
I didn't think I would make it, but I got him. I gave it a try.
You better run. Oh, give the ball.
Watching him run, oh my gosh. This is what it's about. This is what's so important, is being able to watch your child do the normal things that any other child can do. And he still gets a little winded, you know.
Very good.
But that means that he's getting to a new plateau.
Take deep breaths in.
I treasure every minute of every day that I have with every member of my family. Because, you know, tomorrow's not promised to anybody.
Bianca Solorzano, CBS News.
They were determined, as every parent should be. Earlier, I spoke with Dr. Bernadine Healy, health editor for U.S. News and World Report, and asked her how to get the best possible care for our children.
Well, Maggie, the first thing is to get information. And now in a Google world, you can get it very quickly. Go to reliable sites. usnews.com, we have a very good site on conditions and diseases, but also there are government sites. And that's the first step. The next step is, what's the right hospital? What's the right doctor? And of course, that's where U.S. News has been in the business for 20 years. We try and help people. This is for people. It's help. Our mission is to help people and guide them when they're facing a major illness and they're not sure where to go. And what we do is we get peer evaluation of hospitals, which usually means the doctors that work there. We have thousands of experts in the field who say this is where we would go.
Go to the hospital
right.
with a specialty.
Right. And the third element is volume. You always want to make sure they have expertise in the area that your child is ill. You know, lung transplants, how many do they do?
Right. You say don't be intimidated. What do you mean by that?
Well, when you go into an environment like this, where you're at one of the best hospitals, you can feel intimidated, all those white coats, fancy equipment. Remember one thing. Every nurse there, every doctor there has taken an oath to serve you and your child.
Imagine you are the patient and never give up.
Well, you know, it's difficult being a parent with a sick child. And the key issue is that you are making decisions for that child. Imagine you are the patient. Imagine 20 years from now explaining to your child how you got to that process.
And be persistent. When it comes to your kids, nothing is too much.
Never, never give up. And remember that you shouldn't be spooked by gloomy statistics. Your child is never an average, and if you get numbers, assume that you're going to have the best outcome that any child has ever had.
Dr. Bernadine Healy, thank you.
Thanks,
Good to
Maggie.
have you as always.